Good morning to Mrs. Grimm's first grade class. I miss you all so very much. I love seeing some of your videos on Flipgrid. I love the different emails that you're sending me. So I'm so proud of you all for keeping up your great work, especially with your reading. So I'm going to do a read aloud today, and it's called Norman the Slug with the Silly Shell. So I'm going to try to get it as best I can so that you can see all the pictures. Throughout this book, Norman comes up with different ways to use normal items in a weird way. He's super creative. Here he uses a donut as a shell. At the end, he uses his pair of underwear as wings. He's a very creative little slug. So we're going to see at the end if you can think of something creative that Norman can use in a creative way. All right, here we go. Norman the Slug with the Silly Shell. Norman the Slug thought snails were great. Wow, said Norman. Look at them. They're amazing. There's all his friends with shells. But unfortunately, the snails didn't think Norman was great. Whee! Crash! Norman, you silly slug, they cried. You've spoiled our fun. This only works if you've got a shell. Norman felt left out. Sadly, he skulked off into the moonlight. If only I had a shell of my own, he sighed, looking at his reflection. And that's when he had an idea. Maybe I could have a shell after all, he thought. But finding a shell was not as crazy as it seemed. One was too bouncy. One was too noisy. And one was already taken. Norman needed time to think. Ta-da! A shell! It was perfect. Norman had never been happier. He could join the snails at last. Norman loved being a snail, and the snails loved Norman's silly shell. But the fun didn't last too long. Suddenly there was a loud flapping of wings. Look out! Bird! Cried the snails in panic. Quick, slither for your lives or we'll end up as supper. But the bird was more interested in Norman's silly shell. It looked delicious. Norman was being carried up, up and away, higher and higher into the sky. Norman did the only thing a slug could do. He made slime, lots and lots of it. With a slither and a slather and a slip and a slide, Norman was free. But he was falling faster and faster and faster until... Plunk! Norman, are you okay? Asked the snails. Wow, said Norman, that was great. I love flying. If only I had wings. He landed on a clothesline. Ta-da! And Norman, look what he did with the underwear. He turned them into wings. The end. Now, let's see if you can be creative for Norman and come up with something else that he can use from your house. So walk about your house and look for an item that you think Norman can turn into something useful, and then draw a picture of it. All right, have a great rest of the week, everybody. Miss you.